Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Why Ukraine live stream. I'm James, and coming to you live from Ukraine. So, I guess some people saw me already on the UA TV English, and other people saw me on Ukraine Matters. So, Operator Starsky and Georgie, and wow, it kinda blew up a little bit. It was quite popular, so that's pretty interesting. So I'm here to answer questions for both new people and old people. I haven't been able to do a stream in like 2 months. I think it's been I've been busy replacing Starlink, which is probably something that we're going to talk about today. So thank you all for coming. Frag, Mitch, it wasn't me, Michelle. I know Ken was here, and Bell was here a little bit earlier. Steven, good to see you, my man. Fantastic. The gang is all here, as they say. Let me check and see. Yeah, okay. You can see my crazy haircut. Some people in the comments on Starsky's on the UATV English were mentioning, they were saying, wow, this guy looks like Zorg. And I had to look up who is Zorg. And because I'd forgotten. I was like, I know this name, and it's from The Fifth Element. And okay, well, I hope I don't look like that. But I am entirely. Oh, hello, Robert. It's wonderful to see you, Nathan. Thank you. And I freaking Zorg. I am entirely to blame for that, guys. I cut my own hair. I've always cut my own hair. Since the last time I let someone else cut my hair was maybe 2006, I'm going to say. So I used to have long hair, like tuck it into my pants long. But since about 2017, I started slowly turning into Zorg, I guess. I remember when I saw this movie the first time, I was like, damn, that guy, he has cool hair, and I'm really not happy that he's a villain. Anyway, I hope I'm not a villain. The other thing, oh man, I saw this today, and you guys, if forget about drones and replacing Starlink, I need this in my life. I need a banana knife. I need a banana knife. I'm going to take it to the front, and the next time, hello Kevin, the next time somebody, I'm in the trenches and we're working on stuff, and somebody needs a knife, which happens a lot. You got to cut things. Nobody's using, or very rarely are you going to use knives in actual battle. Yeah, I need this banana knife. I just want somebody to ask me for a knife, especially like some Ukrainian in like a serious situation too. That's the perfect chef's kiss, and then just hand them a banana, and just I want that so bad. But seriously, someone earlier, a new person, Ice P. I don't know if I've seen you before, Ice P, but thanks for coming. This isn't Ask Me Anything, and I thought it would be a good opportunity. And so someone here, Ice P, posted, what was your motivation? Moral, financial? You have Ukrainian relatives or ancestors or other? And let me tell you, this is like the most frequent question I get asked. I mean, look, the reason that I named my channel Why Ukraine is because this is what Ukrainians ask me all the time. Like, why did you come to Ukraine? And especially in the middle of a war. Of course, that's the assumption. I didn't come here to fight. Okay. Vladimir Putin came here to fight me, apparently. I was already here. I moved here in 2019. And, I've described this before, but I did that because it was during Trump 1. for one thing. Oh, hey, Belle. Well, drive safe. Oh, Kevin, I did not get your email, but I will check it later. Give me 1 second. Oh, hello, Feathered Ford. Hello from Cherkasy. Awesome sauce. Let me just check. I'm going to write it down, and I will. Kevin, are you the one who is in Kiev, who is asking about like work and stuff? Yeah. Okay. Kevin, email. The reason I can't do it right now is I have like 7 different emails. I assume you sent the email to the Angels UA email. If it's different, please let me know. I have so many different like online accounts and stuff. Oh, you're on your way to Cherkasy region right now. That's cool. I am unfortunately not in Cherkasy region, and that's the one question I cannot answer. Is where are you, James? I'm in Ukraine. That's as much OPSEC as I can give. But okay. I thank you for sending me that, and I will. Okay, info at very good. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I will check that, and I will hook you up for sure, dude. For sure, with your experience and stuff you were talking about. Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Frag. It's all about getting me at the right time of day. Because I'm working like 12, 16-hour days, either in the laboratory, in the bunker, out in the trenches. It's great. It's so much fun. Obviously, I don't have time to do live streams very much. We just got so far ahead on drones and stuff that I had the day off, the first day off in a while. So I was able to do this live stream. So I just wanted to address this because it's a really good question. What was your motivation? Moral, financial, or you have Ukrainian relatives? Well, I have Ukrainian relatives now because I married my wife the weekend before the war, and before the full-scale invasion, I should say. But I didn't come here like to meet a woman or something like that. Any of those stories. Ancestors. Actually, I think we all have Ukrainian ancestors. In fact, 50% of European DNA is actually Ukrainian, if you didn't know. Recent studies have shown of ancient DNA that basically the reason that we speak the language, the Indo-European language family that we do happens to be because a bunch of crazy Ukrainians discovered how to use wheels properly and decided to roll right over Europe. Pretty scary, actually. Kevin, I totally understand about wanting to work and no one will hire you because it's a language barrier and they're intimidated by English. So Ukrainians are very intimidated by English. I applied to the military here like 6 times. No, 10 times, like a lot, before anybody would let me in. And even still, the Ukrainians are, they start learning English in like 2nd grade or something. Hey, Starsky. Yeah, but the problem is, and you guys who are Ukrainian, correct me, but I've been told this many times. A lot of the teachers, and especially the English teachers, for some reason, are these like holdovers from the Soviet Union, and I guess the experience of learning English in school was so traumatic for so many Ukrainians. I've literally just walked into like a random shop and, usually I say like Dobry Dane and stuff. And I try to get my English good enough so that I can like at least order food in Ukrainian. And that's especially important because sometimes I start talking to the waiter or waitress and they freeze up and they panic, So, hey, Cheryl, thank you for coming. Oh, a Minnesota goodbye. Yeah, I told Rick the last time I streamed, I said, hey, listen, I'm trying to do my live streams when you're not streaming. And he's like, dude, you stream like once a month. Don't worry about it. So, and it's true nowadays. I'm so busy that it's just very rare that I have any time at all. So I'm like, I better make use of this. So yeah, extremely intimidated by English, and this is what I was saying, Starsky, on the show. That was yesterday or day before yesterday. Was like, don't worry. Like, Ukrainians are so worried about their pronunciation, and I can just see in their eyes they're having these flashbacks of their teacher screaming at them or something. And I just have to tell them, like, native English speakers. I'm not even forget about America. Have you ever like traveled around England and you realize how, what they teach of British English in schools? And a Ukrainian was telling me this a couple of weeks ago. Somebody on my team, actually, that they actually went to Britain and realized that nobody speaks British English there. They all speak these completely whacked out accents. So yeah. Kevin says, I almost joined the front line because I was so desperate. Then I finally got a job, and then the company sold off after a month. Oh, that's a huge bummer. Found me a job soldering drones for the war, and well, they hired me and then had a huge order, but then they canceled. Oh shit. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's a lot of these small mom and pop shop type companies, and tech is a volatile industry anyway, but especially when you've got this sort of Silicon Valley innovation, the companies pop up like mushrooms. You know what I mean? Kevin, one thing I would just very quickly recommend to you, and there's a couple of people in this chat who I have recommended, especially if you are physically in Ukraine, is to start teaching English. To start teaching English classes online. Sign up with some English schools, and you might have to. It might be difficult at first. But it'll take a month or two to kind of get things rolling. But you can set your own. I did that. I kind of took a break from doing IT when I first moved here, and I taught English for 5 years, 4 or 5 years here. It's not going to pay a huge amount of money, but you can live well on $1,000 a month here, to be honest. Hey, Peklo, thanks for coming. English and German languages are made for metal music. Cookie Monster rock. It's it's true. It's true. Nikki, oh hey, are you back from Ukraine now? Because you were here. You were in Kyiv a couple days ago, right? Sherry, hello to Minnesota. Is it possible to make it easy to share the link? Donating to replace Starlink. I know. Yes. Oh my gosh. Am I sharing it on my screen? Oh no. Hang on. Thank you for pointing it out. I thought I was sharing it. Boosh. Ta-da! Now you can see it. It's whyukraine.com. Oh yeah, Nikki, Musafir. Operator Starsky said Musafir. It's a Crimean Cafe. The main one is I think they have different ones, but the main one is off Krashatik Street, not too far off Krashatik. The main street in Kyiv. And so it's whyukraine.com. Sherry, thank you for mentioning that, because I don't it's just me. I don't have a lot of like people handling my promotions or anything. I was, by the way, I did have a place where people could order things and I would send them, and I had to stop that because I'm too busy fighting in a war. But and the next time I have a break, like a vacation or something, I'm gonna have I'm gonna do like a raffle, okay? Because I have been collecting so many cool. Sorry, microphone. Cool things. You can see stuff behind me on the wall. Postcards. I have a bunch of postcards that are signed by people in my unit as I've gone along, and I've just asked people, "Hey, could you sign this little postcard for me?" This is a cool one, by the way. Ukrainian national symbols. I found this in the cafe at Starsky. If you know where Mama Yeva, of course, Starsky knows where Mama Yeva Sloboda is. This was in the cafe there. Pretty cool, right? So anyway, I have all of these. Oh, I can't find them right now, but I have a lot of really cool things and just stuff that you can put on your refrigerator or on your dashboard, as Bell has. Oh, really? Oh, your friend makes those? Yeah, I have like 3 of them. I always try to pick up neat little unique things. And hey, Keith, thank you very much for coming. I am doing well. So let's say Kevin says a lot of those jobs don't pay. Yeah, I used to make $5K a month being a machinist, and that was after tax. So single low pay is an eye opener. Yeah. No, I mean, I freaking made like $65 an hour at NASA, But then the flip side of that is that the cost of living here is potentially very, very low. So, and I have considered myself to be like semi-retired, actually, because I don't have to work all that hard, and I make enough money to live properly, and $1,000 a month is fine for me here, to be honest. Pay. So what was your motivation? IceP said, moral, financial. So we've established, right? Financial motivation is not a motivation. If you are coming here, if you're coming here to make money as a soldier of fortune, there's a very, very small number of people. And I do know a guy, actually, my former security detail was, I don't want to say, well, yeah, I guess I can say he was Canadian. Awesome dude. Oh, hey, Dick Dawson's here. Great to have you, my man. And Petra, it's always wonderful, and Andreas, thanks for coming. Where was I? Oh my gosh, I totally got distracted. What was I talking about, you guys? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so money, making money here as a soldier. Like you can make maybe $3,000-$4,000 a month if you're on the zero line every day of the month. So you get paid by the day. Okay, you get paid by the day. So I think it's like $70 a day or something like that. If you're not on the zero line every single day, then you're not going to get paid that. You're going to get paid, depending on how far back from the line you are. The base pay is about a little over $400 a month as a soldier. Okay. And then as you get closer to the front line, wherever you spend most of your time, and actually, I go out to the different positions, some closer, some further away to the front line, and I have to keep my my rota, my company commander abreast of that, and based on that, I get a little bit more, but it's never more than $1,000 a month, I can tell you. So financial is not. Oh, hey, Shere Khan. Yes, Bell. Some things don't change. Squirrel. Yeah. Operator Starsky says, James, my first salary in the police special force battalion was $70 a month in 2015. Holy cow. I mean, but we've had inflation here quite a bit, but still, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. I mean, keep in mind that most, like retirees get about $150 a month here. It's really rough, for a lot of people. So financial is not a motivation. I don't have any Ukrainian relatives. I'm not going back 5,000 years to my ancestors for motivation to come here. Now, morality, right? A moral motivation to come to Ukraine. And we're talking about, like, why am I fighting in this war? I think that there is a moral argument to be made, and I think that a lot of foreigners who I have seen here, I've seen maybe 1 or 2 out of 100 who've come here for money, but morality was a part of it. Most of them are here just strictly because they saw what was happening on TV and they were like, wow, I can't let this happen. You know, I can't just sit by and watch this happen. And that, I think, is a real good moral argument. But remember, I came to Ukraine before the full-scale invasion, and I didn't come here with me. I thought about maybe joining the army, and to be honest, though, to be honest with you, I made the mistake of not joining the army before the full-scale invasion. Moral motivation, the operator Starsky says, moral motivation, when you meet me, the food is always on me because you're a volunteer. Well, thank you. That's a kind of a motivation. You know, I didn't join the army before the full-scale invasion or get involved in any way because I started to think about it and I kind of started investigating it. And then I had Ukrainians in Kyiv tell me, no, you don't want to join the army because it's all a bunch of like racists, like skinheads or something. I literally had Ukrainians tell me that, and I thought, oh, I don't. Maybe I won't then. And I feel that was a mistake. I think I was just talking to the wrong people. But there was this pejorative stereotype of people coming to Ukraine, as like the Azov battalion had this reputation of being a bunch of skinheads or what have you, and I think that might have been some at the beginning, but there's just as many or more on the Russian side, and there still are. You know, that's what Wagner was about. So, Dick Brandon came on the Shills. Did he come on, or is he coming on? Regardless, either way, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. I've always wanted to meet Brandon. Yeah, and so I was kind of discouraged and prohibited from joining. Not that I had any military experience. This is why I wasn't able. Oh, dude, that's rocking. That's awesome, Dick. That Brandon's going to be coming on. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to be there. Like I said, 12, 14-hour days. Unfortunately. Yeah, Scruffy, by the way, welcome, Scruffy. Scruffy says there's usually a few bad apples that people pick up on, and then the entire service gets branded. Yeah, by the way, guys, the reason I'm reading messages is because a lot of people are listening in their car, or they have it on their TV in the living room, and they're in the kitchen. And I have been told, please read the thing. Operator Starsky says, racist? That's new. Mostly heard from Ukrainians like in 2016 I was just wasting my precious years for no reason. Yeah. I've heard that too. Which skinheads were in the army too? I mostly saw them drinking beer in Kyiv. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it was a lot of Russian propaganda, actually, that dissuaded a lot of people, which is unfortunate. But in regardless, the morality now that motivates people is just the total wrongness, absolute wrongness of this Russian aggression. That's not what motivates me. I'm not motivated necessarily by that, I would say. For me, it's much more logical, because morality, I don't know, people like to philosophize about morality and try to make it seem logical, but I think a lot of morality is based on emotions. Not that it's wrong at all, and I definitely do agree with. There's a lot of things wrong in the world, though, right? The question for me was, oh, Scruffy, thanks for coming. Tech on Tech, very good question. What do you think motivates the Colombians fighting in Ukraine? I will answer that question because I've met a lot of them. Anyway, what motivates me is like, what kind of a world do I want to live in? You know, what kind of a world do I want for my children and their children? You know, and my children, they're all adults, but well, I'm a grandpa. Did you know? I'm a freaking grandpa. Yeah, I'm sorry if that disappoints any of you hot ladies out there. Um, Starsky has a cloud of hunger that follows him, and it spreads to those he talks to as well. That's great. Always carry a snack with you just in case. um, oh, and John Doe says, "Do you have AI control the flight of the drones?" Uh, and yes, those are two very good questions. I will make sure I keep those. I'm going to pin this one. Replace pin. So, yeah, there we go. And if I don't answer your AI question, make sure I do, John Doe. But for me, you know, I believe in freedom. I believe in democracy. I believe that my country, America, and I think everybody can see it now, but I knew this years ago, even before Trump, that our cultural and much less political dedication to freedom and democracy, and even I would say the pursuit of enlightenment, really, you know, in the like 18th century sense of enlightenment, not just the Buddhist sense, has decayed in America. We don't know what freedom is. A lot of people in America think freedom is, I don't know, having guns or dyeing your hair purple, or whatever. And when, and I think I might have talked about this in talking to you, Starsky, and because I've said it before. When my dawn was happening, I was VP at an IT company, and we hired people from different parts of the world to help us with different things that we, you know, a little bit outsourcing, but we hired Ukrainians, and the Ukrainians were always the best of all our people in terms of being able to do anything. And a lot of, well, let's see, not a lot of, several of the people, the Ukrainians, were actually at the Maidan protests. And I spent many years protesting, for free, by the way. I never got my George Soros check. It's very disappointing. Protesting in America, starting with the Iraq War in 2003. And I felt like it made not one bit of difference the entire time. I was involved with the Iraq War protests from 2003 up until like 2007, 2008. I was involved with the Occupy Wall Street protests in 2011, 2012. And I just feel like they accomplished nothing. I mean, maybe they something. You guys, we can argue about it, but I became a little bit, you know, really disillusioned with being able to change anything positively in America. And I just saw, to me, our decline. Some people may talk about Reagan or something, but to me, our decline into the fascism that we can all now see really started. The tipping point was the Patriot Act, the USA Patriot Act, and this emotional reaction that people had all over the country that just allowed those in power on both sides, actually Democrats and Republicans, to just this slow or fast creep of government power, and this slow decline towards fascism that we've seen. And you know, when I saw the Maidan protests happening, I was like, wow, there are some people who really want freedom, and they can do something about it, and they're willing to take measures necessary. And I decided, man, if I ever travel, I think I want to go to Ukraine. And that's what happened. And so that was my motivation ultimately. So going back to the motivation, Tech on Tech says about the Colombians. So yeah, money is a little bit more of a motivator. Mitch Ashdown copyright claim coming in 3, 2, 1. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I see. You guys, I'm glad you guys are having a good time. Bell says, I'm driving, so I can only chat in spurts. Wow. When you put it that way, baby. All right. Oh, chatting in spurts. Sorry. Okay. No, but the Colombians. So I when I was in the Legion for briefly for a couple of months, and I got injured in training in 2023, and that is when the South Americans and Central Americans really started to come in, and I actually taught English to a bunch of Spanish because I speak a little Spanish too, and I actually taught. Oh, see you later, Starsky. Thanks for coming. I actually taught English to a bunch of Spanish speakers in the barracks in the training, you know. And but I had to go home. I got injured, and I had to go through about a year of therapy, actually. And I would say that for them, maybe money, because $400 is a lot of money in Colombia, and so I think they're probably sending it home to their families. It's still not a lot, but it's better than whatever they had. Plus, they had, Colombia has had a kind of a low level war for like 15 years or something like that, and so you've got a bunch of guys who have this skill set and nothing else to do with it. And I actually learned a lot from the Colombians. Like they taught me stuff, about war and fighting and physical exercise and drills and training that they were having us do. So we were like cross training each other, and I was really impressed by them, and a lot of them, some of them were like single guys, but a lot of them had like families back at home, and not just Colombians, Peruvians, Mexicans. I think we had one guy from Ecuador, one guy from Peru. His call sign was Bob. A couple of guys from Mexico, and then maybe 4 or 5 Colombians, 5 or 6. So, but all of them also spoke with me about the absolute thrill of being able to really fight for freedom, to fight for a good cause. We've had a lot of stupid wars lately, in my lifetime, that America's been involved in, a lot of other countries. And this is a war where it's very clear which side is good and which side is evil, and so that was definitely. Oh, Tone, thanks for coming. Colombians, unfortunately, the group of Colombians that I worked with, they literally about 6 of them died on their first mission. And I don't know if it was the first batch, but it was one of the early batches, because they were used to fighting in a different war, and I think the training that they received didn't prepare them for mass artillery. And unfortunately, the first time out, when they got under the barrage, some of them panicked and ran tried to get out of the trenches, not like running away, but just trying to get out of the area, because that's how that you revert to your training, right? And they died, and one of my friends took a grenade to the face. He lived, but he and Raven, and anyway, so yeah, they're very courageous and good people for sure. Now, the other question about AI, John Doe, you asked about AI. So what's happening with the AI right now is, it's really, I wouldn't call it AI. It's not really AI. Okay. It's last second takeover. So if you're trying to hit a target, okay, my coffee cup here, teacup right now actually, is a target, okay, and here's your drone. Oh, there. This is my drone, okay. Okay, can I? Where's there? We go over to the side. I should go full screen, but I'm not going to. You guys are just going to have to look down in the corner. So my drone's coming in here, and as it gets closer and closer, this thing has electromagnetic interference, so electronic warfare, what we call REB, on it. You know what I mean? So, sorry, you can also drink from this tank, actually. So as you get closer and closer, that electromagnetic interference starts to mess with your ability to control the drone, because it affects both the video and the control channel. So you've got two different channels, two different frequencies, usually one really low, one really high, or some, not always, but some mix of that. And ideally, if you're like, I have electronic warfare on my vehicle, okay, and it runs on all sorts of different frequencies, and ideally this is going to be messing with whatever drone is going to be coming in, and as it gets closer, you start to lose control of your drone. The quote-unquote AI, which is really more like an auto-targeting system, it's trained to recognize, oh, this is the tank, or this is the, I've locked onto this target, this is the target, it looks like this. Now the tank might be kind of swerving around or whatever, but this still, it's just in the last like 3 seconds. That's all. There's not like, you don't have like these drones flying around looking for people, and no, there's nothing sophisticated like that. Pandemonium, just in, Russian General Yaroslavovich Moskalik became good in a car kaboom. Yeah. I saw that. So, Kevin, that is an excellent question, Kevin. I'm sorry to all the Ukrainians out there, and I apologize to my wife if she's watching. I don't like Solo. I tried to like it. I'm just not Ukrainian enough yet. maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe I won't, maybe that's what'll happen when I go to get my permanent residency, which I'm going to get here pretty soon. Is I don't know, maybe I have like a ceremony where you have to kiss a piece of Solo. If you guys don't know what Solo is, clearly Kevin knows. It's literally the subcutaneous fat of a pig. Just that, and not cooked or anything, just cured with like salt and maybe smoked. Sometimes they have smoked Solo. I'm sorry. Sorry guys, I can't. Let's see. Tech on Tech says, I saw something like this with dual cameras, one for the pilot and the other for the target tracker. Pilot assigns a target through the RC channel, and the target tracker will take over from there. Simple. Yes. And usually that's actually done with two separate drones. So you have a recon drone that's like a DJI or some equivalent. And then the FPV drone is going based on the direction of the, and yeah, so these are coordinated with each other, basically. Yeah, Cheryl, pork lard. It translates as pork lard, but lard has a slightly different meaning. Lard in America is like, it's a jar of pig fat. This is the actual skin, like the top layer of skin is pulled off. And so it's not just lard. It's like something Shere Khan's like, yay, Solo. Yes, it depends on if the Solo is chewy like meat gum or nice and tender. Okay. Maybe I just had the wrong Solo. Now I have had Solo. Tech on Tech says, can Delta coordinate that in real time? Tech on Tech, I am not at liberty to tell you. But that's a very good question. But I am not at liberty to say. I don't work with that every day at all. No, not at all. Kevin Art says, I met another American who was in the war at the beginning. He didn't like Ukrainian food, so when he got out of the war and lived in Kyiv, he just ate Domino's. Damn. Okay, I'll be honest. Look. Okay, Starsky's gone, so we can talk about this. Look, a lot of people come here and they love Ukrainian food. I like some Ukrainian food, but you have to understand that Ukrainian food has really has three flavors. Okay, and you know, my grandparents, my grandfather especially, he couldn't stand any spice at all. And he's from Montana, you know, so I understand this kind of food. Um, Shere Khan says Ukrainian food rules mostly. Um, yeah, yes, Tech on Tech. Delta is freaking cool. And Delta is pretty widely known about now. About. Um, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's actually designed to NATO standards, and I think that Delta is going to be the platform for NATO. To be honest, in fact, I think there's actually talk about that, plans for that, because I think it was, I don't know for certain, but I believe it was designed perhaps in conjunction with the British military. That's my hunch. If you guys don't know what Delta is, I guess we could Google it. There's no Ukraine Delta. There's no harm in that. Yeah, it's on Wikipedia, for Christ's sake. Yeah. So there's an article about it. It's a situational awareness system. Ukraine's Delta paves the way for allied interoperability. Yeah, this is exactly what I was saying, you know. Oh, yeah. So Jackie Bo says red or green? I'm a red guy. I'm a red guy. In fact, I was about to mention that Jackie Bo, you must be from New Mexico. Shere Khan knows about this. So I must have mentioned in my Starsky interview, at my little place in Cherkasy Oblast, my family grows chili pepper plants for me. Obviously, I'm not growing them now because I'm not there. So they got about 50 of them, and we've got jalapenos and habaneros and two other. There's like a Ukrainian chili that's not super hot, but it still grows some, and then there's an Asian style chili. Anyway, I keep my chili in these. I guess it's like you put like vitamins or something in these. This is full of chili peppers, and so everywhere I go, especially at the barracks or in the military kitchen, I take this with me. I actually keep one of these in the bunker for me when I go there, so that I will have some chili pepper, and I'm constantly offering it to Ukrainians, my fellow soldiers, going like chili perets. The word for like peppers is perets. Okay, so I'll be chili perets, and they're like nee. I guess a couple of times since I leave it on the table in the lunch area room, they've occasionally like snuck it into each other's food, and it kind of goes around like a practical joke. Hello, Anna. Thank you for coming. Tech on Tech says Delta is almost as powerful as Chuck. Great. Wow, Cheryl says in Nepal, in the Tibetan monasteries, if you have chili, you have friends. Everyone gathers around the person with a new supply of chili. Yeah. Pandemonium meltdown. Spicy guy. Yeah, I do. And so I do a lot of cooking myself. And my wife is complaining that I made her fat because she was really skinny before we met. And so, yeah, I remember when the first time I made dinner for my wife's parents, I just cooked, like, for me, just normal Chinese food, kung pao chicken. And I mean, it about burned their faces off. They were very respectful. They didn't say anything, but I heard my wife told me like a year or two later, she was like, yeah, Dad was like the next 3 days in pain. Oh, at Ashan, yeah. It's yeah, where I am, in the places I go, there's just not a lot of Ashans, unfortunately. Pandemonium Meltdown says, I thought Delta had to do with Chuck Norris. That's funny. Yeah. No, it's obviously I'm not going to show it or anything, but it is a very powerful tool. Very, very powerful tool. Yeah, Cheryl says I think I would like borscht and cherry Veraniki. Veraniki is the correct. Yeah, Veraniki is like what we in America we call them pot stickers. So pot stickers, which is an Asian, right? So they make these here in Ukraine, or it's kind of things like it, but they can be filled with like cheese, they can be filled with cabbage, or they can be filled with cherries, actually. And Shirkan, thank you very much for giving everybody these memberships. If you have a membership, you well, I have a Discord, and you can join the Discord if you connect your. Some of you, most of you are already in, but you can connect your Discord to your YouTube account, and then when you go into Discord, you'll automatically be a member of my server, The Last Alliance. So yeah, pierogi. Well, that's the like Polish word. Yeah. Wow. Where is Starsky now that we're talking about food, you guys? Yeah, sour cream and melted butter. That's very sour cream. They call it smetana or smetanka. Pierogi is some kind of sweet bread in Ukraine. I don't know. Some of you who are Ukrainians, maybe it's common in the west of Ukraine, but yeah, galupsi is another one that I really like, which is I'm not sure I can spell it correctly. Galupsi. Yeah. Oh, galupsi, Ukraine. There we go. Yep. Which is cabbage leaves stuffed with like pork and vegetables. It's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I ate before this stream, you guys. Jesus Christ. You guys are like food on the brain. You guys need to go have some dinner. You can eat while we're in this live stream. That's okay with me. Yeah. So yeah, the AI now we talked about AI like questions, I think that maybe in a year we're going to see AI that does do things like what you described. Let me see if I can find. I don't have any articles right now about all the crazy stuff, that's going on with drones in Ukraine. But oh my gosh, I don't always talk about specifics on these things because I'm so close to it, and it's very easy to kind of drift off into OPSEC territory. So, I think when I'm in interviews and talking to like Starsky or Georgie, they help keep me on track and make sure I don't say things I shouldn't. But I will tell you that I think in a year we're going to start seeing more advanced AI that we're not full control. We're not even close to that yet, but yeah. Pandemonium says don't OPSEC. Kevin, of course, Kevin's in Ukraine here. He says, I don't like the food portions. Whenever I went out to eat, I'm like, is that it? I should have ordered 3. Yeah, I mean, if you are used to American meals where it's like boom on your plate, yeah, it's in Europe in general. They have slower portions, basically. Yeah. Yeah, Cheryl, cabbage is, man, it's all over the place here. It's a lot. It's a lot of cabbage. Definitely. Tech on Tech says, I see also there is slowly coming mid-band drones available that don't use COTS frequencies. Yeah. And I also think that we're going to start seeing drones operating beyond the standard like kind of Wi-Fi frequencies and even low raw. I think we're going to start to see things in radar ranges and microwaves and things like that, to be honest. But those can all be jammed. They can still be jammed, But we play a constant cat and mouse game with their electronic warfare versus our stuff. I wanted to talk a little bit about the news today. Oh God. Oh, I accidentally scrolled too far down and I saw his face. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep his hair on the screen. That's enough. I'm wondering what you guys think about this proposal from the Great Orange One, Captain Hare. What I find interesting is that now, and I haven't even had a chance to check this because it just came out. Yeah. Europe's ceasefire proposal contains U.S. security guarantees, no recognition of Crimea. That's interesting. So a copy of the peace proposal given to the U.S. by Ukrainian and European officials earlier this week includes robust security guarantees, including from Washington, and no talks on territorial concessions until a full and unconditional ceasefire in the sky, on land, and at sea. Hey, Lynette, thanks for coming. It's okay. A wizard is never late, Lynette, I guess. So here we go. I haven't had a chance to look at this. So I want to see what is the official sensitive ceasefire. Commit to a full and unconditional ceasefire. Both sides immediately enter into negotiations on technical implementation with the participation of U.S. and European countries. This is in parallel to the preparation of the agenda and all modalities for a full peace deal. I don't think Trump could actually read this. There's too many big words. Russia must unconditionally return all deported and illegally displaced Ukrainian children. Thank fucking God. Thank fucking God they've included this. Yeah, I mean, okay, so Mr. Squiggle says Klitschko was suggesting giving land. Sounds like he's either setting the scene or dropping hints for Trump. I mean, the Trump White House was sending people to Ukraine to pressure them to basically come out and make calls against Zalinsky. Essentially, here's the thing: I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but if Zalinsky could physically accept this any of these stupid proposals that the White House or even that Putin has made, okay, such as they are, he would be out of office before his pen touched the paper. They would get he's not a dictator, unlike some other people who I just saw him again. Ooh, sorry. Okay, it would have to go through the Verkhovna Rada, which is the Ukrainian Congress, and it would never fly. It would not fly. Simple as that. Because the Ukrainian people would not support. Now, I have occasionally heard Ukrainians say things like, "Oh, well, do you think we might have to give up land?" But they never said we should give up land. Okay, no Ukrainian saying that. Yeah. Zalinsky could do the Huilo, sign this, but do that. Yeah, I mean, but that's what makes him. That's what makes us different from Putler, and frankly from the Orange One, who we won't discuss. That's what makes Zalinsky into a freaking hero, more or less. Although a lot of Ukrainians have a much more circumspect opinion of Zalinsky, which I think is healthy. I think it's healthy not to trust your politicians. He's much less of a hero here in Ukraine. Thank you, Tech on Tech. 2013 borders plus reparations and the return of the children. But this is the thing, right? This war, guys, this is just the beginning of the end. I predict 2 more years. And that's only if, right? Only if China stays out. And unfortunately, by accident, Trump has driven down Russian oil prices, right? And supposedly that's going to collapse the Russian economy. Okay. And that, I think that sounds great. That sounds great. But at the same time, he's pissing off China so much that they're not going to have, they're already supplying, okay, China, drone factory, Russia. There are Chinese workers. Yeah. Chinese making drones in Russia, Zalinsky says. Okay? It's a slippery slope. So first China's sending all these dual purpose drones. They're banning drones being sent to Ukraine directly. They're sending tons and tons of dual purpose drones and other sorts of military, quasi-military goods to Ukraine. But the only thing holding them back from going whole hog and just totally, and when I say to Ukraine, I mean to Ukraine in the hands of Russia. The only thing that's keeping them from going whole hog is the threat of sanctions in their trade relationship with America. Well, now, guess who blew that all up? Do I have to show him? Don't make me show him. Go away. Right? So now any leverage that we had, that the U.S. had over China to not help Russia is shot. And maybe Europe is enough to hold it back. Maybe the Chinese trade with Europe is enough to hold it back from completely going whole hog and helping Russia. But I think at some point that's going to change too. And I don't know if you guys... And thank you, Frag. And lastly, Chinese-made Type 56-1 assault rifles. There's a lot of indications that... Truly, Tom, thank you so very much for joining. Whoa, Michelle. No. You just said the FBI arrested a circuit judge this morning over an undocumented immigrant. Oh, okay. That's separate from our discussion, but thank you for... You don't have to retract your message. Hang on. I need to close that. That's really something. Yeah. So Tech on Tech says, Ukraine is up to about 50% domestic weapons production. It's a race, right? It's a race. And, you're hearing reports that, Russia may invade Europe in 5 years. Russia could start a major war in Europe within 5 years. You're hearing these things. Not 5 years. Okay, 2 years. 2 years, because they have to. They have to do it because they see Europe ramping up production of arms and armaments, and they know that this is their last chance, is right now. In the next 2 years, they have to do it before Europe, maybe even in the next 1 year. Okay, now here's the thing that come on, verify me already. Here's the thing that I think is really key, and that is Azerbaijan railway, Iran, Russia. Right? So this railroad right here, Russia and Iran agree on a new rail corridor via Azerbaijan. February 6th, Azerbaijan, Iran to discuss the Rasht Astara Railway. Boy, there we go. Okay. This is going to really, really change this and the China Russia oil pipeline. Okay. These two things. Okay. They're very close. These two things are massively important. Okay. For the infrastructure that China and Russia need to be able to properly assist each other in the event of a global war. Okay. These are massively important things. And this is supposed to be operational within the next year from Iran into Russia, and then Iran can just start funneling arms. I think Russia. I think in the next year we're gonna start seeing U.S. weapons from Afghanistan being used by the Russians in Ukraine. I think that's a big deal. Okay, I'm not going to talk about this, but I am going to Google it right now. Pandemonium. Let's see. Milwaukee. Started to type your name, Pandemonium. Okay. Milwaukee. Judge. FBI. I'm telling you, it's this slippery slope that America has been going down towards, and you know what, Scruffy, you talked about it. You had a whole video about America's descent, and it started with 9/11. It started with a reaction to 9/11, really, in my mind, and the USA Patriot Act and all the other things and waterboarding and black sites. What is the El Salvador thing but just another U.S. black site? It's a slippery slope, and Obama didn't close Guantanamo. He left it open, and so it ultimately, it's not about people, it's about systems, it's about laws, and this has been a slow cultural change of moving the Overton window. So yeah. So going back, I think that within the next year, but I don't think that Russia is going to attack Europe. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't think so. Maybe a little cross-border skirmish incursion. No, I think that Russia and China are both together going to take a big chunk out of Kazakhstan. That's what I think is going to happen, to be honest. It's something like between 20 and 40% of Kazakhstan population is ethnically Russian or has Russian ancestry and or hold Russian passports. And there's a big in the north and west of Kazakhstan. There's a majority population of Russian, and China already has casus belli with the ethnically Kazakh Muslims in eastern China in the Xinjiang region. All they need is to have a false flag terrorist attack and blame it on Kazakhs, and I think that's going to be the next place if they can. But if we can stop them in Ukraine, this war doesn't have to turn into a world war. Ukraine is not just defending democracy for the entire world. We're stopping World War III from happening. We're making so Russia is too bogged down and tied up here to be able to turn their turn their guns on someone else. So we're taking it in the chin here for it. And I was talking to a tech researcher in the US this morning who's working on some things that could really, really help Ukraine and help, I would dare say, even NATO or European countries in the event of a broader war, way beyond what I could possibly talk about. But, he's trying to get funding from like VCs in America. And they're like, what do we need? We don't need to work on this. The war is getting, Trump said the war is going to end tomorrow, And so there's a lot of Americans who just believe that. Lynette, Russia isn't doing so well financially. Yes, that is true. But a lot of Russians haven't been doing so well financially for a really long time. As long as they can prop up Moscow, they will bleed the rest of Russia dry. And they've historically done that for centuries. Like something like 75% of rural Russians don't have freaking running water or toilets in their home, So, yeah, one of their major banks went under. There's all these things they're covering up. So this is also a ticking time clock, Lynette, for why China is going to get involved. And if they don't have anything to lose by, hell, Trump's got tariffs on us anyway. We're already sanctioned by America. So we might as well go full blown helping. And Iran is the same way. Trump blew up negotiations with Iran. And it's way too complex of a subject for me to get into, but they're like, well, hell, it's like if you're a bad stepchild, and you're like, well, I'm gonna get in trouble anyway, so I might as well do something bad. And that's the team right now. That's Iran, North Korea, and soon to be China, I think. Frag says, yeah, but Russian is as well. There were reports for fundraisers in Russia totally died off because of peace talks. Yes, that's true. That's true. I did hear about that. But don't. Thank Ellie. Thank you for coming. By the way, I hope you are doing well. So yeah, guys. So that's it. Now, I will say I don't know what kind of time. The Exist says we're here to do good regardless of hair quality. Yeah. Thank you. So I guess I want to talk about something. I'm sometime, I can't say when, but soonish, I'm going to have a little bit of a transition, a little bit of a move, and I don't know exactly how it's all going to pan out. I will probably have a little, let's say, a vacation, very short, and I might have some time to do live streams during that time. I know I'm not talking about like tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit, maybe next month, something like that. So you might not see me again on a live stream for another month. We'll see. I never know what time I'm going to have. If I do have time, not, in the lab, and we get ahead on drones like we did, and they say, hey, yeah, take a day off, then you might see me do another live stream before May. But otherwise, I will have, let's put it this way, I think I will have some very, very interesting news by the middle of June. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. For one thing, people are, the video that I did with Starsky and with Georgie and talking about replacing Starlink, I think it's really catching on. And Shirkan, thank you very much for coming, by the way. And by the way, and I'm actually not the only person doing it or working on these things. I have found out, and I think and I'm not using just one solution. But it's not. I don't think it's being done in a coordinated full. It's not like the whole Ukrainian army working on this, which is something that I would very much like to see. Is this replace Starlink project in a more coordinated, integrated way, not just in the army, but within civilian resources as well here in Ukraine. Yeah, Mr. Swiggle, I looked, last I saw it was 81,000 views with Starsky. It might be the most popular video they've had there. It's been at least in a while, which is weird. But I think that shows you how important this idea of replacing Starlink is, and how topical and timely it is with everything going on with crazy ass Musk. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm gonna have some interesting news. Another thing is I'm going to do a raffle, because I'm gonna need to kind of fundraise for some other things, not just my replacing Starlink project. I just don't know what it is. It's so difficult to plan for these things when I don't know how things are gonna shake out and change. But it's gonna be positive. It's gonna be good. Dr. Dawson says Musk needs a Starlink dish stuffed straight up is his behind. Yeah. So anyway, I just I want to thank all of you for coming. And those of you, I know most of you probably don't watch the shorts that I've been posting, but that's kind of like I'm doing. So here's how this works, right? When I have like 5 minutes, like I've been working on drones and I'm doing my thing, and then I have to wait for the next guy who's doing his part, and so I don't have anything to do for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm like uploading a short, because that's all I have time for, on my channel. And so about half of my videos are, straight off of my phone of pictures and things that I've done. I have to be very careful about OPSEC and things. But then also I'm going on to online sources here in Ukraine that I think Americans don't get a chance to see. And maybe if you're watching, Dennis Davydov and Jake Broe and everybody, then you see them. But there's an interesting thing that YouTube does, where it takes these short videos and at a minimum shows them to at least 400 people. Now, if I make just a regular video, okay, it doesn't matter how long it is, but if it's in this wide format, it might never be shown to 400 people, but it finds people all over the world, in freaking Indonesia and America and everywhere else. And my feeling about it is, like, those are 400 people. And I'm not going to disparage people who watch shorts, okay? Because thank you if you're watching them. But those are 400 people who maybe haven't thought about Ukraine all day, or all week, all month, all year. And that's the first time they've seen anything about Ukraine. They had no idea what's really going on here. And I'm just sending it to you raw, like almost no comment. Just and I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm learning a lot, learning how to make videos fast. So maybe what'll come out of this is I'll be a better YouTuber when all of this is done. Oh, cool. Thank you. Wow, Belle, thank you so much. And yeah, you guys, awesome. This is really cool. Kevin, when will you contact me? I can meet up with you tomorrow to talk about work if you want. I'll be back in Kiev in 2 days. We are just visiting our family. I will check my email and respond to you this evening. I have no idea what my schedule is going to be tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to have the day off, but maybe in the evening. So I'll message you on the email, and then we'll exchange details and stuff. And sometimes I'm working till 12 o'clock midnight, so I just never know. But we'll get in touch for sure, my man. I have you written down here. Boosh. I'm gonna put work. Anyway, so thank you everybody who stuck it out through this entire hour and 15 minutes. Mr. Dawson says phones were meant to be rotated horizontal when recording. I do not disagree with you, sir. I honestly, it took me a long time to come around to this shorts business. Okay. But you know what? I mean, what really struck me was I haven't been around a lot of people ever, I guess, or large crowds for long periods of time. What struck me was when I was in the barracks in the Legion, and there was a lot of young guys there, and there was times when we just didn't have anything to do, like because the military's like hurry up and wait, and I'd walk into the barracks and there's like 60 guys laying in their beds just doom scrolling, all of them, everybody. And I'm like, why? What is going on? I don't understand this. But that is the thing. So anybody, I think, under 30, that's what you do. So so that's what I'm doing, because hey, if 400 people catch a glimpse of the reality in Ukraine, both good and bad, then I feel like I'm pushing past all of the bullshit straight into someone's brain. And I don't know. I just try. Oh, hey, Ukraine mission, thank you. Thanks for saying so, my dude. By the way, the Ukraine mission here, I want to give a shout out to him, because he is, here we go, a soldier in the Ukrainian army, and he has a really cool YouTube channel, and he was doing shorts, and he has been experimenting with videos. Cheryl, you doom scroll Instagram, and you're like 75 years old or something, right? Wow. Anyway, and the Ukraine mission, I mean, I can't tell you where he has been, but well, I guess you're going to see it now, because he made this video. This is the Suja pipeline. And this was right before he like barely escaped with his life. Okay, I don't know. It's a crazy story, you guys. And next time he does a live stream. Yeah, thank you. Mr. Dawson says Brit is a fucking badass frontline machine. He keeps walking into hell on earth and keeps coming back to us. Yeah, like twice now, has barely survived. And he was literally the very first, when I joined the International Legion, he was the first person I met. We showed up at the same bus stop. And kind of looking at each other like, I think you might be oh yeah. So yeah. So thank you, Britt, for all you do, because if it weren't for guys like you, there wouldn't be guys like me back here doing what I do. So thank you, everybody, for coming. And I hope this was, if not interesting, at least somewhat heartwarming, or I don't know. I hope you had a good time. So, do pobачення and Slava Ukraine, everybody.